Hello everyone, I am Rahul and welcome back to my channel Rahul Education Academy. And the topic of this video is discovery of protons. The topic of this video is discovery of protons. In the previous videos, we learned about electrons. We learned about discovery of electrons. We learned about the charge by mass ratio of electrons, and we also learned about the exact charge of the electron. And from there we also knew the exact mass of the proton. The focus of this video, as I said, is on protons. Like electrons, protons are also the fundamental subatomic particles present inside an atom. It is said that after the discovery of electrons, the scientists started looking for the positively charged particles inside an atom. The reason being, the atom was considered to be neutral. But after the discovery of electrons, it was established that electrons are negatively charged particles present inside an atom. So, to balance that negatively charged electron, there must be a positively charged particle present inside an atom to make the atom overall neutral. And because of this, soon after the discovery of electron and establishing the property of electrons, the search for the positively charged particle started. Whenever you look at any literature discussing about protons, you will learn about two main scientists. First is Goldstein and another is Rutherford. There is often confusion who actually discovered protons, whether it was Goldstein or whether it was Rutherford. So in today's video, not only we will learn about protons, we will also learn about how both scientists made significant contribution for the discovery of protons. So let's start with how the experiment that was performed for the discovery of the experiment which was performed for the discovery of proton was set up. Since when people started looking for the positively charged particles, already knew about the experiment performed for the discovery of electrons, they used a similar experiment to establish the discovery of protons. So you take a sealed glass tube connected with vacuum to maintain the pressure of the gas inside this discharged glass tube. You had anode on one side and you had cathode on another side. But the cathode that was used had holes. Holes of several holes, and it is called a perforated cathode. It was a perforated cathode. This anode and cathode were connected to the voltage. One with the positive side and another with the negative side. So you had a glass tube, you had anode, you had perforated cathode, you had voltage here. This is the plus side, and this is the minus side. And on the end side of the cathode, you polished the surface with zinc sulfide, which is a fluorescent material. So if a particle struck here, should produce a spark or a glow. This entire experiment was done by Goldstein, the first scientist that contributed on the discovery of protons. So this was the setup for the discovery of protons. Now what happens? When you apply voltage, high voltage, and you have a gas under very low pressure, which is controlled by vacuum, and you have gas inside, maybe hydrogen gas or any noble gas inside the glass tube, what happens when you apply high voltage? You heat up the cathode and it releases free electrons. It releases free electrons. Cathode releases free electrons, and when these free electrons travel from cathode to anode, these were known as cathode rays, and these were electrons. That was our setup for cathode rays. So the first step in the discovery of experiment setup for the discovery of protons was also same. When you apply high voltage, there will be free electrons generated on cathode, and this cathode will travel from, in influence of electricity, from cathode to anode, resulting in the formation of cathode rays. But then what Goldstein observed, that even though electrons are flowing from cathode to anode, resulting in a formation of cathode rays or establishing the presence of electrons, he observed that some electrically charged particles are moving in this direction also, which when struck the fluorescent surface result in a spark or glow. And since the direction of these rays were from anode to cathode, he told that these are anode rays. But at that point of time, he was not able to fully explain the origin of these rays, why the glow is happening on this side and what are these particles. He was not fully able to explain how these electrically charged particles are generated and what are these. So this was the contribution made by Goldstein. He established that there were some electrically charged particles which are creating a glow, and those are not for sure electrons, but they are different from electrons. But what are those? He told that those are anode rays, that because the direction of the flow of these ray electrically charged particles from the anode to cathode, like this, and he told that they are mainly positively charged particles. But how those positively charged particles are getting created was not very clear, and that's where the contribution of Rutherford comes in. He was the one who establish that these electrically charged particles are actually protons. So what's actually happening in the experiment, we'll see in this experiment. I'll first clear it up to explain it again. So as soon as you increase the voltage here, free electrons are created. Electrons are created, negatively charged electrons are created, and they travel from cathode to anode. But this glass tube is filled with gases. So you have atoms of that gas, maybe hydrogen gas or any noble gas, present inside the glass tube. So what happens when these electrons, free electrons which are traveling in a very high speed from cathode to anode, struck these atoms of gas molecules? They dislodge the electrons present inside, the outermost electrons present inside these atoms. So the gas molecule atoms present inside this glass tube lose electrons, and when these atoms lose electrons, they get converted into a positively charged ions. The free electron that is created is also travels through from cathode to anode in this direction. But since the ion that is created after losing electron is positively charged, they travel from anode to cathode, because here cathode is negatively charged. So a positive ion will be attracted towards the negative plate, that is the cathode. And it is these positively charged ions that through this hole pass through and travel up to the fluorescent screen, resulting in a spark or glow. So it was very clear that this cannot be called anode rays, because anode is not contributing towards the generation of these positively charged ions, because these positively charged ions are generated because these electrons which are releasing from cathode under high voltage interact and strike the atoms of the gas molecule. They knock off the outermost electron and convert that atom into a positively charged ion. So there is no contribution coming from the anode. So calling them anode rays is wrong. And Rutherford performed further experiments to establish that these positively charged ions which are present inside the gas tube and that travel in this direction are actually protons. And protons had very similar properties similar to electrons. While they were positively charged, they also travel in a straight line under the influence of no electric or magnetic field. Second, they also produce a glow when they struck a fluorescent screen. These fluorescent screens were mainly made of zinc sulfide. Third, if you put a negative terminal of the electric field, these positively charged ions are attracted toward it. This also established that these positively charged ions, these ions that are generated, are positively charged. So in this video we learned about how the proton was discovered. Goldstein performed this experiment, and so there is some electrically charged particle which are getting generated and are creating a glow on the fluorescent screen. And those particles are not electrons, those are something different. He also mentioned that these are very positively charged particles, but he was not able to explain how those particles are getting generated. He thought that they are getting generated from anode and traveling from anode to cathode, and that's why he named it anode rays. But it was not altogether convincing. What happened is that when Rutherford performed his other experiments, we'll discuss about those experiments in later videos, he observed that when electrons interact with the atoms of the gas molecules, they knock off the electrons and create a positively charged ion which travel from in this direction from anode to cathode direction, and then they are the reason why a glow is created on the fluorescent screen. But they are not the origin of those ions are not anode, and hence those are protons and not to be called anode rays. Calling them anode rays can be wrong. So therefore, in this video, we learned about the discovery of protons and how discovery of proton established that apart from a negatively charged electron, there is a positively charged proton inside the atom. Both Goldstein and Rutherford made important contribution in the discovery of protons, observing its properties. So both had contribution in discovery of protons at different steps. I hope you like this video. If you have any comment or suggestion or you have any questions, please write down in the comment section and I will try to answer them as soon as possible. Also, if you like my videos, please comment, like and subscribe, as it will encourage me to create more videos. Thank you.